Welcome to ESPN Deportes. We're here to talk about Hannah Hidalgo and the explosive first season she has had in Notre Dame. What a talent she has been for the Fighting Irish. What a personality, what a leader. What an incredible freshman season with Rookie of the Year and also Defensive Player of the Year for the ACC. How did it feel as parents to see Hannah's achievements this year?
Well, it's overwhelming, but in a wonderful way. Like we always knew that God had something extremely special in her from the time she was born. God said that she was a double portion of grace. That's why her name is Hannah Grace, right? And so you always knew, but I would say that the Lord never ceases to amaze me. I was just watching because I'll go back and watch her games all the time, and I was just watching a cut that she made off of defense this morning, and I'm like, Lord, that's just nobody but you, because just the sense that she had, like, I have two defenders working, so I'm gonna cut towards the basket, and then she gets the steal, was just like, how did you even know to go there? Because my sense would have been to join my teammates and try to triple team the ball, right? So it's overwhelming, but it's also fascinating. And words really can't describe. I remember watching her at McDonald's All American, and I said, and I just cried in the midst of all these people, because I'm watching her perform, and I'm just watching God open up doors for her. And when she got the co MVP, um, it was just like, you earned it. Not you deserve it, because sometimes there's a connotation of um, somebody giving you something when you say I deserve. No, she's earned it. So it's an awesome experience, and I'm just looking forward to so much more.
¿Y le puedo hacer las preguntas a usted en español?
Sí.
Can I ask him the question in Spanish?
Yeah, that's fine.
Sí. Ok. Quería preguntarle sobre por qué escogió, bueno, volvamos un poquito sobre la preparación de ella, como usted fue quien la entrenó desde pequeña. ¿Cómo fue la trayectoria de ella? ¿Cómo la vio prepararse, desenvolverse a Hannah?
Pues como yo había entrenado los tres hermanos de ella primero, porque ella era la más pequeña. Ella siempre estaba con los nenes, los hermanos de ella, practicando y jugando. Entonces ella, pues, cuando era chiquita, yo sabía que era diferente. Como ella jugaba el juego, siempre era bien, ¿cómo se dice? Competitor. Y nunca quería perder. Siempre era jugando bien duro. Entonces, cuando estaba como los 9 años, yo sabía que era diferente lo que como ella jugaba. Entonces, pues, nosotros había preparado lo que ella quería cuando llegara a high school, y una de las cosas que ella quería hacer era hacer el McDonald's All American y jugar para los Estados Unidos y ganar un campeón en high school, porque todas las otras cosas se puso posible hacer, pero menos hasta la high school para ganar el campeonato. Perdió a la última sonada del buzzer por 2 puntos. Pero que cuando ella fue a jugar para los U19, para los Estados Unidos, en España. Ella hizo algo que nunca nosotros habíamos visto hacer, y eso fue entrar como en los últimos minutos del juego y cambiar el juego, que ganaron ellos por 3 puntos, creo que ganaron allá en España, contra era contra España, en España. Entonces habían como 7,000 personas que estaban ahí, todos gritando con la band, de las músicas, de todo eso jugando. Y ella dijo que eso fue lo más diferente que ella había jugado. Entonces, cuando terminaron el juego, que ellos ganaron la medalla de oro, fue que ellos pegaron a gritar el Hidalgo, el último apellido de ella, y estaban esperando por ella afuera en la guagua. Entonces, de ahí nosotros sabíamos que era algo bien especial lo que lo había pasado a ella. Entonces, pues, entrando en colegio, ella siempre ha sido una que le gusta ganar, y ella lo que quiere ganar es un campeonato. Entonces, pues, todas las otras cosas que están pasando por ella, como Defensive Player of the Year y ACC Freshman of the Year, esas cosas que no estábamos pensando, pero que vinieron porque como duro ella juega, y siempre juega con amor y deseo de ganar siempre.
So I'm gonna piggyback a little bit off of what Orlando said. So when we say that she's different, right? She literally, a lot of people don't know that Hannah is equally as good in soccer. And she chose basketball, I guess, because all the boys were playing and it was what her dad, coached, and it's what, I love to do. Like, we just saw a basketball family. But one year she decided she didn't want to play soccer anymore. And I told her she had to play 2 sports, so you can choose, another. And I used to run track. So those were my 2 sports, basketball and track. So I said, Hannah, you should try to run track. And in that one year, she ended up making it to the Olympics, the Junior Olympics, and she won a bronze in the javelin, threw it for the first time, and she won a silver in the relay. So she's equally as good in track and field and in soccer.
And that explains her speed too, right? I mean,
Yeah,
she's so fast.
yeah, she's gifted with that, and the speed and her athleticism. She's really, I would say that, yeah, she probably got the speed from her mom, probably running track, because I run fast, but I wasn't as fast as she is. So she must have got that athleticism surely, for sure, from her mom.
Hmm. And so both of you know her better than her game, better than anyone probably, because, she's been playing, you've been her coach, and obviously you as the mom, and all the sports that she's been doing. But so what do you think is her best asset now, seeing her game after 1 year at Notre Dame? She has the jump shot off the pick and roll, her 3-point shooting, the steals. I mean, she loves being the pickpocket, her speed, like we were saying, the footwork, just all of it. But what do you think is her biggest asset that you are seeing right now?
So
Well, I would say that it's her will to win. That's why when games are like on the line, some of the biggest stages she has had the biggest performance. And it's because when she knows that it's a very important game, not like none of them are, but she knows how to elevate her game. As a father, I always find things and as a coach, I could always find things that she needs to improve on. So even though she might be knocking down the 3 or hitting the mid range or whatever cases, I would say, well, why did you miss those shots? Falling off, you didn't hold your follow through on certain things. One of the things that team started to do was trying to force it to her left. And so, I would tell her, okay, this is what you need to do when they're playing you on the left, come back. And so there's certain things that I've seen her kind of, she's such a tough competitor that she wants to do good, that she spends a lot of time in the film. She'll spend time in the gym working. They gave, after winning the ACC championship, they gave them off for a few days, and supposed to be no basketball, but here she the day before she left, we got in the gym because she wanted to get some shots up, and that's just who she is. She's just she saw that she wants to be perfect in her game, and I know none of us is perfect, but she approaches it that way. And so she also helps her teammates in the sense that because she's so competitive like that, and how she strives for perfection, it just kind of the team, it took a team a little while to get it to figure her out. But I think now that they've been playing so well, they all kind of gelling to kind of figure out her game now. And again, she'll do whatever it takes to win, because that's her desire. One of the things that she will tell you is that she hates losing more than she loves winning. so you don't want to lose. So she'll do whatever she can to help the team win. And, and that's something that we can see throughout every game that she plays. She's going to give her very best, and her teams kind of piggyback off of her.
¿Qué significa verla como puertorriqueña? O sea, que represente a Puerto Rico, las raíces puertorriqueñas en el baloncesto universitario.
Bueno, una cosa cómica, ella iba a jugar para Puerto Rico, pero que no estaban seguros si iba a ir para los Estados Unidos, jugar para los Estados Unidos. Entonces los Estados Unidos la invitaron y ella hizo el primer juego de los 18. Y de ahí se ganó una medalla de oro. Entonces, pues, ella no jugó para Puerto Rico, por el hijo mío, el menor, jugó para Puerto Rico. Entonces, pues, ahí cogimos las dos, uno de los Estados Unidos, uno de Puerto Rico, pero somos bien orgullosos de nuestro país y siempre lo enseñamos las cosas del país mío. Pues sí, es tremendo para poder hacer. Como no podía jugar por Puerto Rico porque había hecho de los Estados Unidos, hasta siquiera el hijo mío menor lo pudo hacer por Puerto Rico.
Muy bien. And you, as the mom, so she's Black and she's Latina, right? So she has both, I guess she represents both ethnicity, racial, right? She has, so what does that mean to you as a parent as well, to see how she's uplifting for young girls as an example in basketball?
Well, she's again, this is a prime example of her just being a double blessing, right? Because she represents the Hispania and she represents African American, and she transcends the barriers of racism, right? Because not only is she a female, but she's a Hispanic female and she's an African American female, and she's doing it, right? She's out there, she's performing, and not just performing, she's performing with class. A lot of times we're looked down on as being beneath, but she's overcoming stereotypes. She's representing both nationalities. She loves children, so she has been such a positive example to those that are around her. And at this point, I'm just watching the walls, coming down, like tearing down the walls of Jericho, and, all of that. We can't. And Hannah is demonstrating that not only can we, but we will.
What has Coach Ivy told you about Hannah and how, because, there was an interview where they were interviewing Coach Ivy and Hannah jumped in front, and she's obviously so proud of her and what she does for the team.
Yeah, she's all she says is, "I love your daughter." That's like she starts with that and she ends with that. She's like, and I think for her, it's like not only is this kid coming in here winning, but she's a good kid, off the court, and that's a lot for Nielle. She's like she is. No, she said to me, Tamara, I don't mean just on court. Like she's an amazing kid. Like I love this girl, because she's fiery on court, and then when she steps off, she's just a little goofy kid. Um, so we're trying to open her up so that she can, the world can see, hey, it's okay to be a trendsetter and still be who you are. You know, Hannah definitely stands on business when she is representing the Lord. And so it's okay to be different. You just have to be true to who you are. And that's where the pride comes in for me. Like she's true to, you know what? I'm never going to forget or miss to give God glory. And Nielle knows that. That's why Nielle said, in her interview, she's such a blessing because she knows where her gifts come from.
Yeah, just to say, as far as that, we're born again Christians, and her faith really speaks of who she is, and that's one of the things that Nielle said, that she's kind of changing the environment over there. As far as she said, her teammates been going to church, some of the coaches been going to church, and she's been there. Like my wife said, on the court. You wouldn't even know that she's that same person off the court, because it's like night and day. She's kind of stayed to herself, very quiet, but she's very friendly, very kind, and she loves the Lord, and so she's all about always building the faith, and it has changed, and people say, hey, she's different. She is who she is. She's not one that's gonna hide or fake her personality. Is she genuinely is a very kind, very giving, very loving girl. Off the court, on the court, she's a beast. Yeah, on the court.
Sí. Yes. Una pregunta, because puedo hacerlo en español. Can I do a Spanish question?
Está bien.
Yeah.
Ok. Jugadoras como Hannah, como Caitlin Clark, que se criaron con varones,
Sí.
jugando con varones, muchas de ellas han llegado más lejos, porque, como dice, son más agresivas, son más, pero tienen un nivel de juego altísimo.
Sí.
Y Hannah fue una de ellas, o sea, ¿por qué razón ella empezó a jugar con los varones?
Porque, porque era una de las mejores jugadoras con los varones. Ella, ella jugaba con las muchachas. Siempre se entrenaba con los hermanos, pero que cuando a mí me el coach del Life Center, era la escuela de middle school. Ella era la única muchacha que jugó con el equipo de los nenes. Y ella jugó con los dos hermanos de ella, que uno es mayor y el menor, y ella fue la point guard del equipo de nosotros, porque yo quería que ella aprendiera cómo jugar con los muchachos que eran bien físicos, bien agresivos, más altos, más fuertes, y le enseñamos cómo era que ella tenía que jugar con personas que eran más grandes que ella y más fuertes. Y ella, cuando pegó a jugar, primero yo creía que le tenía un poco de miedo, porque no quería que le bloquearan el shot cuando ella la tiraba. Entonces, pues, perdóname, a veces cosas no sé cómo decirlo en español.
Está bien.
Pero ella estaba, me recuerdo, en el primer juego de ella se robó la bola de los muchachos y fue a hacer la layup, pero no quiso hacer la layup porque tenía miedo que le fueran a bloquear el tiro. Entonces yo le dije, si la próxima vez que tú hagas eso y pasas la bola y no la metes en la basket, te voy a sacar el juego. Entonces, lo mismo pasó. Se robó la bola de nuevo, fue a basket, pegó a tirar la bola y después la pasó. Entonces yo la saqué. Le dije, tú no quieres poner la bola en el basket, pues aquí te sientas. Entonces estaba bien enfogonada conmigo porque la saqué. Pero cuando la puse para atrás, y era un juego que nosotros estábamos bien cerca, estaba bien pegado, y ella, cuando la metí al juego, cambió el juego y inmediatamente con los muchachos y hizo, no sé cuántos puntos ya cogió en la segunda half, pero cambió el juego y de ese momento ella pegó a aprender que no importa quién era que ella estaba jugando, que ella le iba a dar lo más que ella podía poder. Entonces, ese año que ellos jugaron, nosotros perdimos creo que más que un juego y ganamos todos los otros juegos que estaban jugando. Y ella fue el starting point guard para nosotros en ese juego. Y de ahí jugó 2 años con ellos y entonces de ahí fue para high school. Entonces, después de 2 años jugando con coach Lisa, entonces ahí fue que me metieron a mí y yo pegué a ser el coach de ella en high school y ahí fue que el juego de ella really cambió mucho y fue de ahí salió McDonald's All-American y USA Team Player, so salió bien.
Wow. So tell us now, it's March Madness, and what are your expectations? Has she said anything to you? You haven't talked about it. You leave her be, or what's going on? Looking forward to.
She hasn't said anything. She doesn't really like. She'll talk basketball when she wants to discuss what happened in the game, or maybe something major is happening, or somebody left the school or something like that. But when she comes home, or sometimes she'll call and say, I don't want to talk about basketball. Like she wants to leave that aside and just be a kid. So she hasn't said much about it yet. We're talking about the seating and everything that's going to happen tonight. So we're excited. And then, we will just go from there. It's almost just like, lock in and just be ready to play. And she's never had, the easy path. I heard Orlando telling you about, Lisa in high school and um, Life Center and things like that. But even, in the rec league, I used to coach her in the rec leagues, but even in the rec leagues, she was the littlest one. And that's where the start of her defense came, because we would always tell her, um, don't worry about your shot. That's going to come. You just play defense. And now it has turned to be, that pivotal moment in her game where, it's a spark for her. Like she gets a stop and, it turns into offense. So she's just like ready to play. Like, I'm ready to play. And she said to me when she was here last week, because she surprised us when she came home, and she said, I think I'm going to take a trip in the summertime, Mom. So, just we just want her to kind of be at peace and just enjoy yourself. We don't want to pressure her, and sometimes we can, be like that. Well, Hannah, this is, so it's like we have to be very careful and draw ourselves back, because she'll tell us, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear about this kid, and that means that it's building, pressure is building. So we just, okay, we'll talk about something else. And her dad will talk about sneakers or something, and I'll crack a corny joke or whatever. But, it's just kind of being attentive to, how she's responding to us. But she knows, because I asked her, I said, how was Nielle? And she said, "Oh, she was very firm." So she was like, It's good though. Like she's locked in on us." So they're getting prepared for the next coming week. So I said to myself I wasn't going to watch it, because when I watched the ACC championship, I literally sat there and got sick. My nerves was bothering me so bad. So by the time the game was over, I just started praising God and I went to bed because my head was hurting so bad. I was so tense, like, so I said I'm not going to watch it. I'll go back and watch it after the game. But we're all very, very excited.
Yeah. Yeah, we know better not to talk to her about basketball after a loss.
Oh no,
She,
no, no!
she
Don't
does
talk after a loss.
after a loss. She don't want to talk to nobody. So normally we just leave her be in that situation. But, I mean, when it comes to March Madness, we know that she's very competitive, and so we really don't do anything. I might give her little pointers of who they playing and how to guard certain players. And that's something that I've always done. I was like, okay, you going up against this player, you can't steal the ball for her because she can handle the ball, but she knows how to pick her spots when she's gonna go for a steal and that because she's had to learn a whole lot how to adjust her game through college, how to adjust through officiating from some referees, and she knows how important she is to be on the floor. And especially now that they have so many injuries on that team, she has to stay, let's say, away from foul trouble. But we know she's going to give her best, and that's all we can ask for.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. Gracias. No sé, algo más que la familia de Puerto Rico, que ellos estén viendo, que digan ellos, que vean cuando vean a Hannah, algo que les digan ustedes.
Pues yo tengo mucha familia acá en los Estados Unidos. Muchos de la familia del padre mío viven aquí y de la madre mía también viven aquí. Pues sí, pues tiene muchos primos que la soportan mucho y quieren que ella, quieren mucho de los nenes y las nenas de ellos, quieren a ver a Hannah. Y cuando ella venga para atrás, un día de esto lo voy a llevar para allá para que se cojan autographs y todo. Porque ella la ven en la televisión y dice, wow, es como si fuera un star. Sí.
Un superstar, una superestrella, pero es familia.
Sí, pero es familia. Pero, ¿sabes? Cuando uno lo ve en la televisión es algo diferente.
Sí. We're talking about the cousins and everything, but they're going to give the autographs? You know Spanish!
No, and take pictures.
Tamara could have spoken in Spanish.
Well, I understand a lot. I just don't even try to speak. Orlando's a comedian. He used to try to make fun of me, so I just stopped.
Oh, no.
That is not true.
Yeah, he's always going to say that.
Go back to the story at the beginning. I had lived in Puerto Rico for like 2 years. I was over here in the States, and then we moved to Puerto Rico when I was in the 7th grade, and then we came back when I was in the 9th grade. But at that time, I was talking a lot of Spanish, like my whole circle, pretty much people. And so I met my wife, and so I was trying to teach her Spanish, but she always thought that I was going to make fun of her. And that wasn't even the case. She was always afraid that if she would say something wrong, that I was going to be laughing at her. And I think it was my personality, and she thought that. But I never wanted to make fun of her. I was trying to teach her, but she never let me. So, and now we've been married for 33 years, and it's just been pretty much English all the time. So unless I get with certain around my peoples, then I start speaking Spanish. But other than that, it's usually a lot of English, and especially everyone here just speaks English. So that's why I
One more question.
Words. I'll be like, okay, how do you say that again?
One more question. So Hannah has this bubbly and just great personality when she gives interviews and when after games and everything. So has she always been like that? It's just wonderful to see her.
I would say she has both of our personalities. But I think one thing we praise God because she was very, very quiet. She wouldn't do interviews, but she's kind of grown into that person. And we're amazed at how well she speaks. So sometimes I'll be like, wow, is that coming from my daughter? But yeah, she has that great personality. She does well adjusting to questions, and she has a little humor in her. She'll laugh and stuff like that. But yeah, it's truly a blessing. I don't know what else you could say about that, Tosh.
Well, I would agree that she is a mixture. Like, she has his quiet side, and she was a lot like him. But with her having taken her public speaking class, I've seen a lot of me come out because I'm very, very talkative. I love to talk. I love to, when Orlando's reserved and at times withdrawn, and she can be very, when she comes off the court, very reserved or, to herself. And I'll say, Hannah, go in, go and meet, go shake. No, mom, and when we're out, you'll see she'll put her hoodie on and pull it closed. So like, Grace, do you not want? She's like, yeah, but so she still has that very shy part of her, but it's wonderful to see her personality beginning to show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we wish her all the best, all the success possible now in the March Madness.